When I first saw this San Martin watch released on the Watch Dives website, I instantly liked it. I instantly thought that that looks like something rather special. What I didn't realise, however, is that it may end up being my favourite San Martin watch that I've ever experienced. Hello, you're watching James. My name's James, you're watching me, and I'm talking about watches. And today, I think I may be talking about the best single San Martin watch that I have had hands-on experience with. I've owned lots of San Martin watches, and I think they're all very, very nice, and there's certainly some standout San Martins amongst the ones that I have owned. I've also had some hands-on experience with others from people that have owned them, and they're all very good. I understand why people are so positive about them, and I'm rather positive about them. But this one might be something rather special because I think this is the best one that I've ever had hands-on experience with. I like the look of it. I like the general quality of it, like normal San Martin watches. I like the sizing of it. And there's just something rather special about it that really stands out to me. Now, this one was released first on Watch Dives. It's a website that San Martin is involved in, but it's now also available on Aliexpress. I bought it from an Aliexpress store, and I'm going to leave an affiliate link to that same store that I bought this watch for. If you choose to use it, thank you so much. And guys, if you're watching this and you haven't subscribed to the channel, I really, really would appreciate if you just click on that little subscribe button. It makes a big difference to me. But today, I want to share with you my first impressions of this new San Martin watch. So let's just do that. Well, here we have the San Martin SN0121, a watch that I've been wanting to get my hands on. A watch that I was a little bit surprised that it came in the old packaging, but I think that might be a Watch Dives thing. Inside the packaging, we've got a hang tag, we have the warranty card, we have some general information and user manual. I have 3 spare links after fitting it to my 6 3/4 around about 17 centimeter wrist. And of course we have the watch. And when the watch first came out of the packaging, there were 4 things that really stood out to me. Now, as always with San Martin, generally the quality is something that stands out to me. And in this one in particular, the first thing that stood out to me was definitely the quality. This one feels like the best San Martin that I've experienced, or at least it's as good as any other San Martin I've experienced. Second thing that stood out to me was actually one of the features that I really like about this watch. And that is that internal sort of bezel there. You'll see it inside the dial there, in between the actual bezel and the dial. There's a sloped surface. Now, I know this is homaging another watch which has that, but it really did stand out to me. And it's a real feature about this watch that I really, really like. The third thing was actually the color of this watch. I love the blue color of this watch. I don't think it shows in photos as well as it does in real life, because we've got this really nice dark sort of aluminium style bezel insert, but we've got this really bright blue inside. Now, recently I actually had the opportunity to get some hands on with the original watch, and it also has a really bright blue feel to it, and this one is really capturing that really well. The fourth thing that stood out to me is actually the weight of this watch. This is not the biggest watch. I think this is around about a 39mm case diameter, but it actually has some real sort of wrist presence and real weight in hand, and it really gives you a nice sort of feel that I like a little bit of weight to a watch. I like having steel watches as well, and because of that, I really appreciate it, and it really stood out to me. Now, this one does come in a no date and a date variant. I preferred the no date version, obviously. That's why I bought the no date variant. But I have to say it is containing the Seiko NH35, which does have a date position. So this one does have a ghost position. It does, of course, have a screw down crown, though, and it does have hacking because it is that Seiko movement. But what I have to say is it's just the details about this one that really sort of grabbed my attention. Bezel action as well is also extremely well. In fact, a friend of mine got hands-on with this one, and he's had some good experience with the actual Tudor watches, and he thinks the bezel action of this one is very, very similar. But check out the dial of this one. I think it's really something rather special. That blue color, that little chapter sort of sloped ring there, the real bright white hands and indices, the 3D effect of those applied indices as well. Just something really special. The overall case and the bracelet do feel very much San Martin. I could sort of look at a watch like this from this sort of size and I wouldn't actually quite know which San Martin it was. And that is not a bad thing. That is just a good sort of knowing experience of San Martin, knowing that they produce good cases and things, and it is just as equally as good, if not better than them. It has their new on-the-fly adjustment clasp, which I'm not 100% convinced about yet. I like it, the quality is good, but there's a few things about it that aren't perfect. Firstly, just the look of it with the little screws on the side there, not perfect, but maybe I'm being a little bit harsh. It is quite long, which is again, not a bad thing, but just be mindful. When you open it up, of course, it is all internally milled, which is nice. Does have the push button there, and that push button thing is probably the thing that probably concerns me slightly, and it is only slightly. It's just probably not as good as some of the other on-the-fly adjustments that I've experienced recently. Now, that may be saying something a little bit harsh towards the San Martin, because some of these other on-the-fly adjustments that I've dealt with have been particularly nice, but I just want to mention it because don't expect it to be a super high-end on-the-fly adjustment. But what I can say is any of those sort of thoughts about this clasp go away instantly once I have this watch on wrist, because this watch on wrist is beautiful, partly because of the looks, partly because of the size, partly because of the weight, but the whole package is something rather special, and I'm really looking forward to having this one on wrist for some time before I do the review. And whilst we wait for that one, maybe check these videos out next.